right. Welcome to another episode of CO Pod. I'm your host, Caroline, and today I'm joined by John Mullins from Net at Work. John, how are you?
Doing very well. Thanks for having me on, Caroline.
Of course, thanks for being here. Wanted to start off this podcast today and, kind of talk about what you do at Net at Work. So tell me a little bit more about you, what you do. Give me the Spark Notes version of who is John.
Sure. So I work on the sales side of things, kind of the account management, going out and hunting new business for Net at Work with a main focus on the one of the solution sets that we have in the ERP space called Acumatica. And with that, I tend to focus on some verticals inside that, mainly construction and a little bit on manufacturing.
Awesome. How long have you been with Net at Work?
So I have been selling ERP for the better part of kind of two and a half decades, and then fairly new at NetAtWorks. So just finishing up my first year.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. That's a milestone.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit more about Net at Work. What do you guys do?
That's a great question, and it's a super exciting company to be at. So NetAtWork got its start back in '96. And kind of everybody needed to have some sort of a software vendor, some sort of a company that was out there. NetAtWork went one step beyond that and did not just want to be a solution provider, because those are a dime a dozen. Hey, here's your product, here's your widget, go take it and run with it. So NetAtWork wants to kind of come along and find companies to partner with from the entire ecosystem of software. So whether it's looking at ERP, it could be looking at payroll, could be looking at HR solutions, could be fractional CIO, all of those things. So anything technology related that a company is dealing with, the Net at Work wants to come alongside them and work with them in the journey to figure out what's going to be the best solution for them overall.
Yeah, I do. I want to talk about the founding a little bit. So you said it was
hmm
back in 96.
hmm
Why did they create the company? What was the need for that?
So the two partners got started basically with one ERP solution to go out and I don't know how much you or your listeners know, but obviously most ERPs are sold through what they call a value added reseller or a VAR. And so they jumped in as being a VAR for one of the ERPs that's out there, on the Sage front, and then they decided they didn't want to just be seen as kind of yet another solution provider for an ERP. So it was, how do we differentiate ourselves in a difficult landscape, a difficult marketplace, and provide value to our customers the entire time? Not just, let me sell you this, let me see how fast we can work and get our circus to leave town, and then we can go from there. So really, really exciting. So they got their start as an ERP vendor, and then grew from that, both through organic growth and through acquisition, to make sure that they had kind of an entire ecosystem to bring into the market.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, being in business for that long, it's really a success. And it's
It
really,
is.
something to celebrate.
And they're still very active. These are not owners who have kind of, they could have stepped away a long time ago, I'm sure, but they are still, running our calls. They're still very active. These are people that if clients, have issues or concerns and they want to escalate it to them, they do not want to step away. Which I love. I think it's fantastic for owners to stay that actively in touch with the business and that actively involved, even with all the success they've had over the last several years.
Yeah, and it also definitely probably helps with, the workplace morale. It makes everybody work more when you see the top dog in charge.
Kind of that mentality of, they don't feel that they're above doing, any of that work, which really, you're right, it trickles all the way down to sales, to support, to the implementation team, to product management, to all the way through. These are people who kind of say, hey, these guys are in the trenches with us on a daily basis. They're out there, living the by the same things that they're asking us to live by, and it makes it very, very compelling to work here. And I think our clients see that, because they realize that these aren't people who are, hey, how much money can we wring out of a company? How much money can we generate? And what's the revenue for this company? What can we squeeze from them? So all of those things kind of line up really, really nicely.
Yeah, leading by example, definitely.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are, really involved with Acumatica. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
So Acumatica, for those that don't know, was an ERP that was founded in 2008. There was a group of people who had actually created a previous ERP that they had sold to one of the larger vendors that's out there. They wanted to come back and fix some of the things that they felt that they had missed in their first iteration. They create great software, but there were some things that they kind of thought, well, no one else in the marketplace is really doing some certain things with it. So they created Acumatica, and they kind of have created what we view and what we think is next gen ERP. They wanted to create something that would only be sold and implemented through a partner network, but they wanted to make it micro vertical focused. They wanted to be very, very clear and transparent. They even have like a 10-point bill of rights for Acumatica users that includes things, like you should have clear and accurate pricing. You should have, availability to have ongoing training at no additional cost from the publisher themselves. Super rare in the marketplace to see that.
Super rare, but almost seems like a necessity, right?
Yes, it's one of those things which is why the big reason that I jumped over to get on board with Network and with Acumatica, because I'm looking at these things saying, this is the way that people expect to be treated these days, and they deserve to
Mhm.
be treated.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very, very excited from that standpoint. And then one of the verticals that they created inside the solution is for the construction industry. So they have built things that are intrinsic in the software. And what does that mean for the end user? In the old days of ERP, they kind of sold you a lump of clay. You worked with a partner. The partner charged you while they molded that lump of clay to fit your business. And if your business ever pivoted, ever changed, ever anything, well, that clay had hardened. You had to break that clay apart and pay to redo another lump of clay. Acumatica came along and said, we're going to create a very specific solution set, one of which will be for construction. The end user gets fantastic software that's written and supported by the publisher, not by someone who's gone and done the custom work in between. And it means a better implementation, a faster implementation, because obviously once you make the investment in a new ERP or a new software, you need that ROI, you need that system working for you so you can get out there. And it means ripping hours out of the project. You're not having to pay to have a company come along and say, "Now explain to me what you do. How do you do it? Where do you do these things?" So it's really, really an elegant design that works perfectly.
Yeah, and we all know how much businesses change and how they
Right.
change so frequently that, this
Yeah.
type of solution is just it works and it works so well.
You're right. It's, and I think COVID exposed a lot of flaws in otherwise successful businesses, specifically on the software side of things. It was, well, we got used to doing it a certain way. We had this siloed system and that siloed system, but we had humans that could go in between. Well, when the humans couldn't show up to work, when they couldn't do things, or you needed to be competitive as, lumber prices were going through the roof and then, coming back down to reality and all those things, then it was, well, how do we make sure that we're maximizing the revenue that we have? Well, we need to do that through technology because we can't just continue to throw warm bodies at it.
Yeah, COVID definitely had its pitfalls, but it also, I feel, made us aware to so many things that we didn't think about before.
Yeah, it's been an interesting time, especially like I said in the construction marketplace. Not an area that's really sprinted to embrace the latest and greatest new technology. You look at well, and I don't mean that as an insult. You look at some sectors, banking, finance. They're always going out and having the latest and newest, and sometimes at a bit of a detriment. Construction has been very slow, very steady, very so to have some things come on that kind of forced you to re-examine your business and the solutions that you're putting into your business, I think is a good thing overall for everybody.
We definitely are a little bit more of a slow burn industry, but once we get there, we're there.
That's right. Yeah.
And then also, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys were partner of the year with Acumatica?
So we've been fortunate enough to win that award, partner of the year, runner up partner of the year. So over the growth and the expansion with the Acumatica team, we're the largest Acumatica partner in the North American marketplace. So it's really, really exciting. That means that we have a deep enough bench for our end users to not have to wonder, okay, are we going to have to, I'm dealing with a small mom and pop company, but they're going to have to go out and hire an offshore resource or hire someone that may not be around for long term. They may not be able to support the product or the things that we do. So all of those worries go out the door. So it's really, really cool to be, kind of recognized by Acumatica for what we bring to the table as a value-added partner.
Yes, and then you guys will also be at their conference in January, correct?
Correct. The Acumatica
Awesome.
Summit, which is coming up at the end of January in Las Vegas. Yes.
Yes, we'll definitely I'll see you there, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Awesome. Yeah, those are always a good time, and it's nice to kind of see the touch points that Acumatica has, the things that they're thinking about, and they're listening to the end users for some of the things that they bake into the solutions. So it should be a lot of fun. It's a great experience.
Yeah. Let's kind of switch gears here a little bit. One of the things in the construction industry that we're struggling with now and have been struggling with for a while are, as you know, labor shortages. So, what does Net at Work do to get in new talent and retain the talent that they already have?
Leveraging technology. If we can get rid of 3 people that are having to support Excel files and shared documents and sheets and repurpose those people so they can go out and do more work for the end users on their companies, then we can have a software solution that comes along behind that. Or when someone gets ready to retire, you might not have to fill that position as quickly because you have a solution in place that can handle the workload that maybe 2 or 3 people were doing 5, 10 years ago. With Net at Work, we are constantly hunting, for best and brightest, that are out there. We love to find people from the industry itself, and maybe they've worked for someone and they want to make a bit of a career change or a pivot. Those tend to be fantastic for us to go out. And so not always looking for, hey, I've got 14 years of Acumatica experience, and because those people may jump from partner to partner to partner, and that's fine. There's a role for that, and that's great. But it's also looking at the people who come along and say, "Hey, I've been in the construction industry for a while. I was a project manager, at a mid-tier builder or a large builder or a custom home builder, or I did, something like. And now I want to make a pivot. I've used this product. I think it's great. So they kind of come over. So we're always on the lookout for that. The people who are kind of trying to figure that out where their next place is going to be and where they can make an impact for this industry.
I feel like it's always so important, we're facing all these challenges, and some people think, I just need a warm body. But,
Yeah.
more than just a warm body, it's so important to find that right person, that right fit.
Yes, and then the network makes a tremendous investment in that right fit. Not only from the, hey, we're going to interview a ton of people, we're going to narrow it down, narrow it down, narrow it down, and pick the candidate that we like. But then it's okay. Some companies kind of day one, you come on board. Here's your laptop. Here's a cell phone allowance. Go get money, and if you don't get money, then come back. Obviously, we're all still out there trying to do what we can from a deal standpoint and from revenue creation, value creation, but Networks goes with a, hey, let's be very slow, let's be diligent, let's invest in the people that we think are going to be a good fit for us culturally and a good fit for the verticals that we sell, and make sure that they understand the products that they're selling, they understand the needs of the business. And then beyond that, Acumatica does the same thing as well. Acumatica has kind of badges that you go out and earn. So you go through and you become sales certified or project manager certified or customer support certified. So it's not just us saying, we at Net at Work are going to invest, but then we're going to kind of allow you, while you're a Net at Work employee, to go out and earn these certifications from Acumatica, to make sure that you really are an industry expert and a solution expert all the way through.
And those are like courses that are provided from Acumatica.
So if you're a partner in the ecosystem, you can go to the Acumatica portal, you can log in, and then you can become, kind of certified in these things. And they're very, some certifications are, watch this video, and then you can tick the box, and we'll give you the yes, not to put a thumb drive into your laptop. You have the IT certification. Not the case with Acumatica. These are pretty labor intensive. A lot of work goes into it. You actually have to do things, where you're recording yourself as you're describing some of the solution sets, and then you send them off to Acumatica for grading, all the way through. It was, to be truthful and honest. When I came on at Net at Work, I went through all this training, all these things. And again, I'm a guy who has 2 decades of ERP experience. And one of my first tests, at Net at Work, it came back and it's like, hey, you got a 72, and we want you to have an 85 in order to pass this test. And that a little bit of a gut check. I'm not used to failing. I'm not used to getting these low scores, and I'm, kind of like, oh yeah, I really need to make sure I truly understand things. I can't just sprint through and try to, bluff my way through. I have to be an industry expert here.
So those are definitely not the kinds of classes during COVID that you would take where you can just chat
Yeah.
GPT all your little answers.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's not something you watch. You turn on the video, you let it play at 2 times speed, and you come back to click the next button. Not the case at
No.
all. It was clear your calendar, clear your desk, focus, because there's going to be some pretty heavy lifting involved at the end of these things.
Yeah, and it's really incredible to have those kinds of programs to, we really want our industry experts to be industry experts.
And it's incredible to have a company and a publisher that both put the content out there and then are willing to sit there and say it's more important for us as a company to know that if you're out there representing Acumatica and representing Net at Work, that you know what you're talking about. So when you tell the customers these things, when you're talking to a construction company, and you say, yes, Acumatica's project management capabilities are going to be fantastic for you to go through and do some job costing, and have your employees enter time against things, that you have that confidence to have that kind of a discussion with someone, rather than, I think it'll do this, or maybe it will do that, or those types of things. I think that our customers that become kind of lifelong partners with, they appreciate that, because now when we go to talk to them about some of the other things that Network has, not just the Acumatica side, but perhaps some of the other services, they're sitting there saying, okay, these guys are, they truly understood one facet of my business, so I should probably listen to them about something else down the road as well.
Building that trust between,
Right.
Net at Work and your customers. I think that's something that you guys do very, very well, and something I've noticed just as an outsider is everything you guys do with your customers is about the customers.
It is. It is and that comes from the top down. I think that's why the founders are still involved, because they still get text messages from some of the original customers. They still talk to them, on a consistent basis. So all the way through, it's very, very cool.
That's incredible. And then, those courses we were talking at Acumatica, do you guys at Net at Work, do you require your employees to take them, or is that more of just if you want an extra boost, this is
So,
for you?
Acumatica has an ask from the partners to go through and have a certain number of people who are certified in certain badges, and it's their way to make sure that anyone out there trying to sell and implement the product is doing it the right way. Our company is then, Net at Work expects the account, executive team to go through and earn the badges to know that we are certified from Acumatica to represent the product out in the marketplace today. So there is an expectation. We use internal training. When you log in, you can see how many days you have left to pass a certain class, or to take a certain class, or to earn a certain badge. And then beyond that, once you earn it, it's not just kind of fire and forget. These badges have a shelf life, and if the product changes significantly, if they put a lot of different stuff in it, then you have to go back and get recertified in these things. Just like you would hope that your doctor or your lawyer has to go to continuing medical education or continuing legal education. So we're always trying to make sure that our team is going back through and staying current on all the solutions that are there.
That definitely makes sense. I would
Yeah,
want my team to be up to date on what's going on.
absolutely. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit more about the customer experience at Net at Work. So, we're talking about how you guys are, you're really there for your customers, you're customer centric, but say if I was one of your customers, what would I experience?
So if you're first off, we'll back up a step. We do things completely differently than most ERP vendors in the sales cycle, because we don't want to get lumped in as a me too with everybody else who's coming along and trying to say, do you want to buy it for X amount? How about X minus 10%, minus 15%? It's so we create content that we can send out to our customers for them to digest when it's convenient for them on the sales cycle. Not just hey, let's fire up a 2-hour meeting. We expect you to absorb everything, but after that, we're going to provide you lots and lots of content for you to digest. We're also going to create kind of a back and forth area. So obviously we're a technology company. We leverage technology, as you'd expect, to create some landing pages. So our prospects who are involved in the sales cycle can send us information. We can look at timelines. We're working with them off of, when do you expect to go live? Hey, here's all the work that's going to be involved if you want to go live by July 4th. So we need to have these things done at certain points in time. So there's clear, transparent, dialogue both ways, where they're pushing back on us saying, oh, we need to do this, or a headcount has changed, or all of that. Once they decide to kind of partner with Net at Work and go through and implement, we continue to use those exact same, landing pages and documents that we used in the sales cycle, in the implementation cycle. So that means that there's not a big loss from sales to implementation in terms of the knowledge transfer, because all the knowledge is stored. It's all there for everybody to see. So just because the teams have changed, the sales team isn't doing the implementation, but all the data, all the touch points, all the knowledge is all there for them to see, including all of these very fluid, SOWs. So if we're in the midst of it and there's going to be a delay, you can clearly see why the delay occurred. Hey, we told you had to have X, Y, and Z done in order for us to move on to this next stage, and you didn't get these things done, and that's fine, but there's going to be an implication for that. Or, hey, you guys flew through that. You got that done way faster than we thought. We can actually remove some hours from this project and get you live even faster. So it really has that buy-in. And then beyond that, our customer support team, we view as kind of best in class. They are our best in breed. We're constantly going out and doing net promoter scores. We constantly want to know how we rank, how do we do. It's important to us that the interactions, not just in the pre-sales and the sales and the implementation, but then the go forward is a positive one, because like you had mentioned early on, businesses pivot, businesses change. And there's nothing more infuriating from where we sit at Network than when someone says, oh, we just bought, X, and we sell, X, or we sell something, better than X that does the exact same thing. And we kind of think, well, we wish we had known. So the team is constantly doing check-ins. They're constantly, dealing with that and making sure that our customers are heard, over and over and over again. From everything from, hey, when's the next meeting? When's the next touch point? Is there going to be a user group we can get together with? Can I bounce some ideas? All the way through to just random, hey, what's your plan for the holidays? Or did you watch the football game this weekend?
It sounds like a very, immersive experience that's almost like a community. You're not just signing these people off and saying, okay, here you go, good luck.
It's crazy to look at a company that has, and the number, increases all the time. Pick a number, 8,000 customers, and they all feel like they're at a, and we have to be large enough to support 8,000 customers, which you would assume, we're not going to know who the customers are. You become customer number 6,419. Not the case. It's nuts. I see it all the time. I get on these calls, or I'm talking to someone who's looking at making a change from one solution to another, and the interaction they've had with our team over years and years and years. These are people that get that, they know the kids' names. They know, oh, this company has grown from a mom and pop construction company to they have 3 locations, or they've gone from doing, just residential. Now they're doing residential and commercial work, or they've pivoted. So it's just crazy. All these stories that you hear, from a company our size that really has that hometown feel.
Yeah, it builds the trust and nurtures the relationship. And, with that trust comes, it just the whole world opens up after you have that trust.
Right. That's, and we see, I mean, the people listening to this, the construction industry realize it. Like if you build something that's fantastic, and you take your time and you do it right the first time, and you provide value the entire time as you're doing it, you have now not just sold a house or a project or a building, or like you've earned a partner. So the next time they need whatever it is, you will be the first person that they reach out to, because they know these people did excellent work for a fair price and they stood behind it the entire time. And heaven forbid, if something went wrong, they stepped in and they immediately fixed it. And that's kind of the philosophy that Network has as well.
That's awesome. That's the goal. I would say
It is.
that's hashtag goals if we're gonna go that route. Now I have some kind of fun questions for you. They're probably the hardest questions I'm gonna ask you today.
Uh-oh,
But
now I'm nervous.
what is the best piece of advice you have ever received?
Personal friend, but give my backstory. This more than people may need, but happily married for many, many decades. My wife asked me, I need your opinion on something. And my opinion apparently was not the opinion I was supposed to have. So at that point in time, she said, and I sat her down and said, why don't you just ask my approval on things rather than my opinion? Different word, very minimal word. But so in terms of that, I think that was the last time I was ever asked my opinion. I was just asked my approval on where we move, or if we get a dog, or those kind of things. Professionally, I think the number one thing that I learned early on was, it's more important to listen than to talk.
Hmm.
I think understanding what someone is saying, it has a lot more value to it than just, okay, great. I know you're in the solution. You're looking for a new solution set. I don't really want to hear why. I don't want to understand your business. I don't want to understand your problems. I'm just going to start throwing the solution set at you. And I think a lot of people who sit in similar seats to mine, at other places, probably go that route with, hey, we know we have the greatest mousetrap. I really don't want to hear why you need it. I just want to show you this. So I think professionally, it's understanding your prospects and your clients' needs, and really listening to what they're saying, with kind of what the
Yeah.
issues may be.
And even kind of getting to know them on more of a personal level, once you understand there's a real person in there behind that business. We're not all just
Right.
numbers and Excel sheets. There's feelings and emotions there, and understanding that can help the business in so many different ways.
Oh yeah, you're 100% right.
This one's going to be an easy question, I promise. If anyone's looking to find you or find more information about Net at Work, how can they do that?
First off, you just go to the website Net at Work. You can Google Net at Work. You can find it, all the way through. And there's a dedicated team, but because you may want to reach out, you may have some questions, and you may not even know what your questions are.
Mhm.
So reach out to the team at Net at Work. And there are tons of areas, the contact us areas on the website, all the way through, and you can find anything you want. You can go to acumatica.com and read a tremendous amount about the solution itself, or you can go to Net at Work and read all about Net at Work and all the things that we do, all the way through. And then, like I said, I love Acumatica. I think it is a phenomenal product, but you may not just be looking for Acumatica. You may have questions about, a technology stack that you've wrestled with for a while or anything like that. So please, please, please reach out to us. We have dedicated teams that do nothing but listen, all the way through, and can go through and help you with those things all the way.
Or you can catch us in person in Vegas at the Acumatica Summit.
That's true. Yeah, it's or feel free to grab us at Acumatica Summit, or we list an area on our website for the events that we go to. So if you see us at Acumatica Summit, or if you see us at like the International Builder Show, or some of these other shows that we will have people at, please come by, and track us down there as well.
Yeah, we'll definitely have all those links for you guys down below in the description so you can find them easily, be able to find John easily because John, you are incredible, so full of knowledge and so ready to share it too.
Well, thank you. It's like I said, this has been exciting for me. I'm fortunate if the hardest part of my morning is just getting out of bed. I get so excited to go to work because I work with great people, and I work in a great industry. It's really, really fun to deal in this space.
Yeah, I remember the days of not wanting to go to work, and now I have the same issue you do. You do. It's just it's hard to get out of bed. Everything after that's easy,
That's right. That's the hardest part's putting your feet on the floor, and after that, it's a cakewalk. So yeah.
especially working from home. Trust me, it's really difficult to get from the fridge to my table.
Well, and now
Very
it's
long
getting that time
commute.
of year where it's cold outside, so it's like I'm nice and warm. Do I really want to get in? And then I'm like, yep,
Yeah.
I do. So let's get to it.
Yeah, you're like, oh man, I have a lot of stuff to do. I should get started.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, John, thank you so much for being here today and really giving our audience a comprehensive view of Net at Work and how you guys work with Acumatica. It's really great. And I know our audience will definitely love what you have to say.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's really, really exciting to talk to people who are trying to find, things to bring to the industry to kind of pique their attention, which I think that,
Yeah.
Caroline, you do, and you do so well. So thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm looking forward to meeting you in person at Acumatica and everything down the road for all of us together because this community, this construction industry is really it's a community and we all
It
work
is.
together and that's how things get done.
You're right. So, well, I look forward to it again. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you guys all so much for listening today. Tune in next time to another episode of CO Pod.